DeathMetalLaker here, doing another Nintendo pickup video. It's not actually really a pickup video per se, as I didn't get all of this stuff like within one deal or anything like that. It's more like just kind of a what I've gotten recently kind of video. Tried to concentrate on Super Nintendo and completely failed on that score and only came up with 2 games. I did get quite a bit of stuff, just in a lot of random sort of 1 or 2 game pickups. Got a group of 8 games for the NES the other night, so thought I'd finally make another video and show all the new stuff that I've got. So let's take a look. So here's all the stuff I've gotten. Like I said, I tried to concentrate on Super Nintendo but only came up with 2. For some reason, when I try to concentrate on a certain type or a certain system, it seems like I find all the good deals for every other system. So, but anyway, the 2 games I came up with for Super Nintendo are King of the Monsters, which I thought was a fighting game, but it seems like it has a story aspect to it as well. I played this for a minute. I did not know what the controls were at all, so it was kind of hard and awkward, so I just played it for a minute and turned it off, but it's in real good shape, works really well, and I guess it's a hair on the less, well, not so common side, so that's cool too. So, and then the other one I got was Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse, which is a really cool game. I played it for a while. It's another one of those Capcom Disney games that's really good, got really cool graphics, really playable. The play control and everything's real cool, and you know, Capcom just knew what they were doing. They made really good games out of these Disney licenses. So, and this one's in real good shape, so that's another cool one for my collection. And then I got I believe it's 17 NES games. First one being 8 Eyes, which nothing too special. It's not rare. It's pretty much what I would refer to as a common. But this one is in way better shape than most of them I've ever seen. Usually, for some reason, 8 Eyes is really tore up. Like the label's practically gone. They're written on. For some reason, this game in particular is always beat up when I see it. So when I saw this one that's in really good shape, other than it's got a little dot of marker there on the top, I wanted to pick it up. Because, you know, I'd hate to pick up a beat up one and then have to, you know, upgrade it later. So that was cool to find that in such good shape. Next one I got was Arkanoid. I did not get the controller with it. I've seen it on Craigslist around my area. I could probably get it if I wanted to, but I can play this with a regular controller, so I'm not in a hurry to get the special controller for it. It's a fun game. I remember it from the arcade. It's actually pretty difficult too, so it's nice. Not something you can just walk over, but it's fun. So it's in good shape too. So another cool one for my collection. Next is another black box game. I think I'm around 20 of them now, so I'm getting close to having all these. As you can see, it's Balloon Fight. It's basically the same game as Joust. Kind of fly around, gotta land on top of the other enemies to knock them down, and you know, just different level setups each time, and nothing too fancy, but it's pretty fun. This one, the end label's a little jacked up, so I may try to upgrade it in the future, but otherwise it's in okay shape and works good. Another good one for my collection. Next game, absolute classic right here, Bionic Commando. Pretty sure everybody's real familiar with this one. NES classic right here, just super fun. I've already played all the way through the whole thing since I got it, and this one's in pretty good shape. As you can see, there's one little nick in the label there, but otherwise, pretty good. And, you know, not much to say about that. It's just a true classic. And here's another NES classic, California Games. This was one of my favorites when I was a kid. I loved the BMX part because I rode my bike everywhere. This one was in rough shape when I got it. It had a lot of stickers on it, a lot of old sticker goop and stuff, and I did my treatment on it, and I feel like I got it back into fairly good shape. You can see there's some moisture creases in the back label and a little ding, and there's a few scratches in the label, but overall it's an okay shape and it works pretty well, so I may upgrade that one at some point too, but it's another cool classic for my collection. Next is Friday the 13th. Oh no, it's the Rainbow of Death, LJN. Actually, this game's not too bad. It doesn't really give you the whole experience of the movies, but it's got Jason in there, and you know, it's goofy, it's fun. You know, not a whole lot to say about that. It's just another cool one for my collection. Next is Faxanadu. Weird role-playing game about some town up in a tree, and I was intrigued by this one when I was a kid, but could never really do much with it. I never owned it. I just rented it a few times and couldn't really figure it out, and was like, you know, in the pre-internet age when you couldn't just look up what to do, it kind of felt like a waste to rent it just to try to figure out, you know, the first puzzle or whatever. So looking forward to getting into that one. Again, yes, more from my collection. This is one of the best ones I picked up recently, Ghost Lion. It's a real rare game. I know a guy named Peter. He has approximately 775 different NES games. He's real near to a complete collection, and he only picked this game up like a couple of months ago, and he's been collecting for like 7 years. So this one is really on the rare side, and when I saw this in the guy's stuff that I got this from, I was really stoked to pick it up, and it actually is in really good shape. The label is like basically perfect. I've taken this apart to do my little refurbishing on it, and the pins, the connectors are in really great shape. It works really well, so I kind of feel like maybe this was something that somebody had and just never played, because it is in basically 10 out of 10 condition. So I was really stoked to pick that one up. It's one of my best NES games now as far as rarity and value go. Next one I picked up here is Kickle Cubicle. Pretty cool game. I enjoyed playing it. I played it for a while actually. It's really fun, little puzzly action kind of game. Freezing the little blobs and kicking them around and trying to figure out how to avoid the enemies and get the little red bags that you need to collect. It's real fun. It's in real good shape. The label's nice and clean, like no peeling on the edges. Same with pretty much all of these. The guy that I got most of these from had some really good condition stuff, so. But yeah, I'm stoked to have that one in my collection too. It's actually a real fun game. Next is Legend of Cage, which I played, and it's pretty much the same sort of game as Demon Sword, which is pretty terrible. The controls are real, like, choppy feeling, and you know, it's just not a very good game, but it is sort of one of those games I just immediately associate with the NES age of my childhood. You know, this was one of those games that I always saw. I never actually owned it, but I always saw it in people's Nintendo collections, so I'm happy to have that one too. Next is Q*bert. I think a lot of people are pretty familiar with Q*bert, you know, hopping around on the thing, avoiding this weird enemies or whatever. You know, I didn't play it too much, but it's in good shape, you know, and it's another classic, so to speak, for my collection. Next is Strider, which I remember from when I was a kid that it was really hard. And it was one of the first games I remember where you could do like jumps from wall to wall to wall to climb your way up stuff, so a little unique there. And like I said, I just remember it being really hard. I'm looking forward to actually, you know, sitting down with this one and trying to get into it and, you know, discover all its ins and outs, so to speak. So another cool one for my collection. Next is another black box game I picked up, Tennis. This one I enjoyed playing. I put it on. I actually played it a lot over the couple of days after I got it. It's got good play control. It's fun. I have volleyball, the black box volleyball as well, and it's real similar to that, but this is a little bit easier to play. It's easier to hit the ball. In volleyball, it's kind of awkward to position your guys to hit the ball. So this one was a little easier, a little more fun. So, you know, I played it quite a bit, and it's a pretty cool game. This one, let's see if I can catch it in the light. The labels, it's not so much as it's damaged, but you can tell obviously it got wet at some point. That's why it's peeled up like that. So I may look to upgrade this in the future, but for now, it's in decent shape, works good, and it's fun to play, so it's another cool one for my collection. Here's another one I was real stoked to pick up, Tombs and Treasure. It's a kind of an obscure role-playing type of game, kind of along the vein of Shadowgate, where you kind of pick your commands from a menu on the side. There's not a whole lot of action in the game other than walking from place to place, and it's just a real interesting game. I could never figure it out as a kid, so having it now as an adult, I'm really looking forward to playing it again. This one again, got it from that same guy, and it's in real good shape. As you can see, the label is perfect, like it's not even slightly peeled on the edges like a lot of games are. You know, I'm stoked about the condition of that one, and stoked to have it in my collection. Next is a pretty garbage game, pretty much. I mean, sad to say, is Top Gun 2. It's hard to tell that it's Top Gun 2 because it looks so similar to the other one, but yeah, it does say the second mission. I put this on for a minute, played about half of the first level, and determined that it's pretty much the exact same game as Top Gun 1. So, not really much going on there. I think there's a few new animations, and like the music is different, but otherwise it's the same. Aim the crosshairs, shoot some stuff, and then try to land, which is basically impossible. So, but hey, you know, it's not super common, so it's another cool one for my collection. Up next is Ultima Exodus, the most common of the 3 Ultima games. This one's in pretty good shape. Got it from that same guy, just slight little fraying there on the very corner of the label, which is not that big of a deal. I played this one for a few minutes too, and I guess these are sort of based off Dungeons and Dragons, or some kind of trying to be similar to that, because there's about 15 minutes of, you know, what's your guy's name, what's his race, what's his class, what's his wisdom, what's his strength, like really boring stuff before you get to any kind of gameplay, so that kind of turned me off right away, but I'm sure I'll probably try it again in another time, and maybe I'll find out it's better than I thought. But yet again, another one from my collection. And the last NES game I picked up was Zoda's Revenge, Star Tropics 2, which is pretty cool. I like Star Tropics a lot. It's a fun game, you know, kind of goofy little story, you know, going around battling with your yo-yo and all that stuff. And I put this one on because I heard that the gameplay was really different than the first one, and I found out it's not. It's almost exactly the same. It's a little less stodgy in the controls, it seems like, just probably because this is, you know, made a few years newer, so they took more advantage of what the Nintendo was capable of doing with the graphics and the controls and stuff. So it's a real cool game. It's in pretty good shape. The label on this one is a little bit dull, slight surface scratching, but it's not peeled anywhere, and it's not ripped, no dings. The back label's good, no writing or anything like that, so it's in pretty good shape, and stoked to have that one too. So that's all I got for NES. Let's move over to what I got for Nintendo 64, which first starts out with a Game Shark. I won't go into this too much because it's kind of complicated. I'd probably do a whole video just on this thing itself, but I did try it out. It works. The system of it is very weird. You know, I'm a guy that's used to a regular Game Genie, you know, put in the codes, start playing, and you have infinite lives or whatever, and this is not like that. It's kind of a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more menus and weird stuff, but this one's in pretty good shape. Still got the version sticker on there, 2.1. And, you know, it works. The LEDs light up and all that stuff, so it's a cool thing to have. And I have sort of a cheating cartridge for all 3 systems now, so that's pretty cool. Next is one of the best things I picked up is Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the gold one, the collector's edition. I've been holding out to get the gold one. I've seen the gray one a couple times and just kind of let it go by so I could get the gold one, because now with this I now have all 5 cartridge Zeldas, and I have the collector's edition of all of them except Link to the Past, because I didn't make a collector's edition to that one. It's gray plastic only, but for the 264 Zeldas and the 2 NES Zeldas, I have the gold versions. The other 64 Zelda Majora's Mask, I have the one that has the motion label. This one, I obviously have the gold cart. This one I got the instruction book with too, which is cool, and I'm just stoked now. It's like a little milestone in my collection. I have all the Zelda games, which is pretty awesome. Next up, I picked up Mario Golf. A really good golf game, fun to play. You know, it's got all the Mario, well, not all the Mario characters. It's got a few sort of generic characters they threw in there, but good golf, fun to play. I like golf games, and this is a cool pickup. I got the instruction book with this one too, so another real good one for my collection. Up next, Quake 2. I played this one for a minute. I'm not too into the first-person shooters other than GoldenEye, because that one was so good, so this one's kind of meh. But it is better than a couple of the other ones, like the original Turok, and a little bit weird. This one's got like some kind of weird alien thing happening in the game, but I'm sure I'll, you know, get bored and throw it in one day and play it. It's in pretty good shape, so it's another cool one for my collection. Next, I got San Francisco Rush, which is a racing game. Racing games can be hit or miss, and this one's pretty much a miss. Kind of boring, not too much going on in it, so. But it's another one for my collection. And speaking of Turok, I got Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. I put this one on, played the first level, and it is much better than the first Turok as far as graphics and the play control. But again, it is Turok, and it has the weird, like, more Halo-like rather than GoldenEye-like control system, which I don't like. So I may not ever play this one too much unless I get bored or find out that I can change it in the options or something like that. But having the colored carts I like, and you know, it's in good shape, so another cool one for my collection. And then the last game I picked up is another golf game, Waialae Country Club. I believe it's True Golf Classics there. My camera is a little blurry, so you can't quite really tell. But, you know, I like golf games, and this one's got a lot of realism to it. Good golf, you know, it's fun to play. It's difficult, challenging. The only thing that this thing lacks is it has only one course, so it can get a little monotonous, a little boring, so. But I played it a bunch already. It's fun, it's challenging, so I'm glad to have it. I actually have the Super Nintendo version too, so it's another cool one for my collection. So altogether, here I believe I have 27 games. I picked all this stuff up in about 3 weeks, I want to say, give or take, maybe 2.5. I kind of, every time I have a little spare cash, I know some guys that sell commons for real cheap, like I can pick up NES games for like $2 each if they're just, you know, real common, non-popular type of games, like let's see, what did I get from that guy? California Games, Faxanadu, Arkanoid, and one other one out of there. I forget which one it was. But so every time I got a little spare cash in my pocket, I can come up on a few games, which is nice. So my collection's just constantly growing. As you can see, my shelf there is damn near full. Not much room for any more games, but I'm always willing to accept more games. So if anybody wants to donate to my collection out there, you got a doubles of some games, or you know, that one random game just kind of hanging out in a drawer, feel free to send it my way. Just comment, rate, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Let me know. Later.